When we go into these scrimmage situations, just so you can hear my perspective, I'm much more interested in, you know, the evaluation, not the congratulations. You know, this is evaluating what are the things on our football team that we need to get better at individually, collectively, as a unit, offense and defensively. I'm not looking for guys getting patted on the back saying, well, what a great scrimmage. It's one. It's one. I want to be able to evaluate. And today, for me, is a great evaluation day. I was able to glean some things through our work today that allows me to help our coaches continue the evaluation process. So it's both. It's individually, it's collectively as a unit, and then, you know, as an offense and defense.
And welcome back, folks. We are back here with a football edition of Tigers Roar. Buddy Songy in the house. Of course, my co-host Jonathan Poche behind the glass, and Marty Campbell making all of us look as good as possible. It is Wednesday, August the 6th, and we have been out at the practice field along with other members of the media for about the last week. We've got a lot of football tidbits for you. Everybody excited. An incredibly tough opening game. Now, all of you out there watching on TV here and listening on the radio, we do Tigers Roar here every other week. You've got to be cognizant of the fact that the coaches poll have come out earlier this week on Monday. Clemson ranked 6th, LSU 9th. Next week, the AP poll will be released, and it is a top 10 matchup. But the difference, Jonathan Poche, is that this is a true road game. So the real grunt work, first day of pads yesterday, full pads. It's hot, it's humid. LSU's been relatively injury-free. And JP out there today, this is the toughest day of the early camp. 2 hours in that heat, in that sun. And it is a lot of action to tell you about. JP, good to see you. Good to be with you again. And happy hump day in the capital city here on Tigers Roar, JP.
Great to be here with you, Bud, man. Certainly appreciate that. Happy August. Of course, August a big month. LSU football starting up. Saints in mini camps. We'll talk a little bit about the Saints and hear from Coach Kellen more later on in this program. I know you and Mike Scarborough have been giving great practice reports after every practice, going out there in the heat and suffering for all the LSU fans out there to get some tidbits. So we certainly appreciate y'all doing such a great job, Bud, man. But, yeah, it's getting close to that August 30th kickoff, and there's a lot of question marks on LSU, mainly the offensive line. I know you asked Coach Brian Kelly about the run game yesterday after the practice in pads. Coach Brian Kelly, you heard in the intro, said that practice in pads is really about evaluation, not congratulations, and I kind of appreciate that. He's not really worried about the offensive line at this date, August 6th. He thinks they can gel and get better, and they will certainly have to because they've made the LSU defensive line look extraordinary so far in practices, Bud, man. August 2025 marks 20 years since Hurricane Katrina. Obviously, there's a great documentary out right now. You can catch it on Hulu, National Geographic, or Disney+. And also last night, Netflix dropped the SEC Any Given Saturday. I was up late watching the first episode. It was LSU and South Carolina, Garrett Nussmeier, Brian Kelly, a lot of great stuff. So a lot to talk about here on Tigers Roar. Happy to be back with y'all.
Yeah, I saw a little bit of that Netflix. I'll have a chance over the weekend once we calm down and settle down with our schedule a little bit as I get my hat straight here. And tell you, let's kind of give you, I'm going to give you a quick overview, JP, of what we have seen. And folks, especially for you folks that are north of 50 or 60, you're going to be very excited about the defense. The defense is appreciably better. They're nasty, they're big, they're strong. Jack Pyburn and Gabriel Relaford are your defensive ends. A battle inside. We thought Ahmad Bro and Dominic McKinley would be the starters, but wow, shot out of a cannon. You're going to love number 88. Bernard Gooden came over from the portal. He has been almost unblockable. Jacobian Gilry, they affectionately call him Tank number 90. He's back. Harold Perkins and Whit Weeks both healthy from their injuries last year, running around crazy. Wes Weeks actually starting in place of Devon Keys at Mike linebacker. That will be a position where they'll play both players. And then, JP, we all know that the Tigers had to bring some talent in, and Monsieur Delane and Ashton Stamps, your starting corners, Tamarcus Cooley, A.J. Halsey, and others at safety. But, man, when you see these guys get after Nuss and the quarterback, they are mean, they are nasty, they've got plenty of them. I got to think, JP, early on in the season, the defense is probably going to have to carry this football team until that offensive line gets on the same page and gels a little bit. But when's the last time you remember LSU dominating defensively? Look, they've always been great smack talkers. You know, Major Burns give up a 30-yard pass, and he'd get up talking smack.
Yep.
Jordan Gilbert, the same thing. Gilbert is back. He's going to be in a star position behind Perkins as a tackler. But I don't think that the LSU fans remember the last time they took great pride in a great defense in Tiger Town.
Yeah, that's a great point, Bud, man. And LSU really hung their hat on defensive line play for a long time. Of course, new defensive line coach Kyle Williams played a long time in the NFL, former LSU Tiger. He's bringing a lot of juice to practice, Bud, man. I've seen some clips of him really getting after it with the D-line. That's going to be a strong suit for LSU, and I think that's only going to develop this offensive line that much quicker. Having to go against these guys at practice each and every day with the tutelage of Coach Brad Davis, I think this line will improve. Have to keep Nussmeier upright, Bud, man, because as we've seen in practice, the number 2 quarterback spot still kind of up in the air, and not a lot of confidence from those LSU fans in the guy who's behind Garrett Nussmeier.
And, of course, in case you understand or you maybe not understanding if you're viewing in, I put these sunglasses on for a reason, because it's hard to watch the offensive line get pushed around right now. JP so eloquently said, let's get right into it. Braylon Moore, transfer portal number 61, came in from the portal from Virginia Tech. He has solidified the spot at center. Last year, starting center DJ Chester's at left guard. Tyree Adams, number 71, is at left tackle. He's done a good job. But here's the problem. Josh Thompson, number 56, did not give up a sack at Northwestern in the Big Ten last year. Unfortunately, Josh got a hold of some of this Cajun cooking and put on some weight from spring to fall camp, and so he's got to drop some weight. He has not been able to block Bernard Gooden and others effectively. Weston Davis over at the right tackle. But until I see the offensive line on the night of August 30th, it's going to be one of the big questions. And quite frankly, folks, as I take the glasses off, it's probably the big question of the whole team. If they can protect Nussmeier, if they could open up a run game and holes for Caden Durham, Caleb Jackson, Harlan Berry, J.T. Lindsey, Jawan Johnson, they've got incredible talent. Now, if you know somebody that just drinks a bottle of champagne every night, or maybe a six-pack or two during the games, that's how loaded LSU is with wide receivers. We've been doing this 38 years, and we've never seen a wide receiver group this big, this fast, this deep. Everybody knows about 0, 1, and 3. That's Xavier Thomas, 0, Aaron Anderson, 1, and, of course, Chris Hilton, number 3. Double A has been hurt. They had a little knee cleanup, so they've kept him out a little bit. He should be back later on in the week. But JP, 2, 4, and 6, remember those numbers. 2 is Destin Hill, Florida State, 6'1", almost 200. 4 is Nick Anderson, coming from Oklahoma, 6'4", about 210. And 6, Barian Brown. Listen, JP had a son that played high school football, and he was really fast. But even faster is Barian Brown. He took 5 kickoffs to touchdowns, 4 touchdowns when he was at Kentucky. And the last time he played Clemson in the bowl game, at the combination of the 23 season, he scored 3 times on Clemson. Number 6, Barian Brown, has the blazing speed. Now with Hilton and 6, Barian Brown, you've got 2 burners. And, oh, by the way, let's not sleep on Kyle Parker. Tight ends galore. Bauer Sharp, another guy coming from Oklahoma, number 10, can block, but it's catching everything in sight. They're trying to make Trez Green, number 14, a blocking tight end. But he has trouble with his pad level because he's 6'7". You got to get down low. Low wins in football, folks. Low moves bigger people. You block high, you're not going to move them. And then Donovan Green, number 88, is the third tight end. So they are loaded on offense. They're loaded on defense, new special teams, a new punter, a new a new holder, and a new snapper. But, JP, you hate to say this. It's reminded a lot of us in the media of a couple of years ago when we spent so much time talking about DBs. That offensive line, we're going to see if they put somebody in. There's some guys in there that they could try. Carius Kern's a guy that's a true freshman, lost 15 instead of gaining weight. He may get a look-see, but until they get a solid 5, and you know there's always injuries, JP, so you really need 8 or 9 on the offensive line. I think that's going to be the key to the season, whether they make the playoffs or whether they get beat up and give up sacks and pressures and go 9-3. But I've been thinking 10-2 in playoffs, but after that offensive line, I've kind of stepped back a little bit. Yeah. That's the key in development here in the next couple of weeks. Of course, third week from now, you're going to start to fine-tune for Clemson. JP, hard to believe we're talking about 24 days from tonight, LSU at Clemson on ABC at 6:30.
Yeah, but, man, you completely said it correctly. It all depends on this offensive line. College football games, pro games, they're won in the trenches. And if you're dominating the offensive line, offense really can't get anything started. They're behind the chains early, can't run the football. Quarterback is in pass-obvious situations, so you can drop 7, rush 4. It all depends on this offensive line. You went through the plethora of wide receivers. It's going to be hard to get all those playmakers to football. Then the stable of running backs. Coach already said Harlem Berry is expected to play as a true freshman. Caden Durham. If he can get some holes, Bud, man, I mean, the sky is the limit for that kid. Tough to tackle, great breakaway speed. It's just, is he going to be able to chance to get some holes and get through that first level? And truly, I have no doubts about the defense. The pressure the front seven is going to bring is going to help the secondary immensely. If you want to cover for 2.5 seconds as opposed to 3 or 4, it doesn't matter what quarterback you're playing. It makes it a lot easier on the cornerbacks. Safety, I think, might be a concern. They like the 2 guys they brought in the offseason, but, man, what are you seeing from Halsey and Cooley at practice?
They're big, they're physical, and they cover better than the safeties that LSU had. Look, Javian Toviano is still on the roster. Deshaun is still there. Yeah. We all know that Jordan Gilbert, Joel Rogers, you got plenty of talent. Deshaun Spears, number 10, is a guy that's big enough to do it, but hadn't done it consistently. But, hey, let's before we go to our first break, if we could, you got some tape on LSU pads and what they look like in the pads. Give everybody a chance to see what the Tigers look like. And here we go in full pads. That was the first day yesterday. And right out of the gate, you see Nuss with a quick pass out here. That's Aaron Anderson, and that's before that was Davion Thomas.
Yep.
And, of course, he's going to be a big factor in the receiving core as always, JP.
Yeah, I like the creativity. That's why I stuck with that play first, Bud, man. Fake the read to Durham, get the defense moving one way, quick pass out to Davion Thomas, who we know is so dynamic in the return game, and when he gets that football in his hands, he can make people miss. So I like the creative play design. We saw a lot of this last year too, Bud, man. A lot of dink and dunk and creative ways to get playmakers the ball. But unfortunately, especially down in the red zone, LSU kind of got away from that at times. So hopefully Coach Sloan is more dialed in this season.
There you see Michael Van Buren with an overthrow. He struggled along with Colin Hurley. They definitely have got to get better. There's A.J. Halsey right there, number 13, 6 foot, 222. And you see number 3, folks, that is the tallest corner in LSU history. DJ Pickett, 6'5", 195. And, of course, the DBs, JP, there's Ashton Stamps, number 1. Of course, Deshaun, as we said, Mansour Delane is number 4, and Jakeem Jackson. But P.J. Woodland, only about 165, 170. It's unbelievable how involved he is. And there, of course, you see Whit Weeks, number 40. Him and Perkins on the field at the same time. Going to be a lot of fun to watch those guys on defense, JP.
Absolutely love the energy that Whit Weeks plays with. Not only plays with, the energy he carries with him each and every day, how he attacks practice, the weight room, the classroom, everything. You can tell he loves being an LSU Tiger and really a great leader for that defense.
25 is Javian Toviano, and he will be in the mix a little bit. Now we're getting into some of the big uglies. And I tell you what, folks, wait till you see the way number 88 looks with his pursuit. JP, his first step is so incredibly fast. And one of the things I got to tell everybody that Clemson's got a great defensive line. They've
Yep.
got a couple of their guys. Look at this man right there. That's Zion Williams, JP, 6'4", 355. LSU hadn't had that kind of size in a long time. And then, of course, we've got, here we go, coming up with, I think, Gooden. And
Yep.
so you get Dominic McKinley's 96. Ahmad Bro is 16. There he is right there, Bernard Gooden, number 88. He's been unblockable so far.
Yeah, what really impresses me, Bud, man, is the depth of these bodies. So many big uglies in the trenches for LSU on the defensive line. They really rotate each and every spot, every play if they wanted to. Keep them fresh. None of these guys really have bellies that are hanging over their belts.
No.
They're all put together well, really built down low. Low to the ground, low center of gravity, just like you talked about earlier. Low man wins in football. Strong base. Looking forward to seeing some dominant defensive play. And look, Coach, even Brian Kelly said pressures from the inside out are the more effective ones, and that's what they've had so far in camp. So that's all very encouraging for LSU defense.
16 was Ahmad Bro. You just saw number 90, of course, Jacoby and Gilry. That is Dominic McKinley, number 96. And as you alluded to, they've got a lot of depth there. I think that's going to be 95, Sean Washington. And then you get into this man right here. 99 is going to play inside the red zone and inside the 5-yard line. Another big tank at 6'5", 6'6", about 355. And JP, then you got some freshmen coming in here. So appreciably better on defense, appreciably deeper on offense. All contingencies are put in the hands of the offensive line. And one good thing, JP, that we go final comments before we go to that break, working against that defensive line, they're going to get better every day. The question is, can they be up to snuff facing a very good defensive team and a defensive front seven Clemson will bring to the table? Quick timeout. We come back with our sponsors and more on this Wednesday afternoon right here on Tigers Roar. Hope everybody doing well. Stay hydrated. Back with more right after this.
Move and be moved by these savings right now at Team Mazda. Choose a new 25 Mazda CX-50, Mazda CX-70, or Mazda CX-90 and get low 1.9% financing. Discover the Mazda experience and save right now at Baton Rouge's Mazda dealer, Team Mazda.
When I started this practice over 35 years ago, I had one goal: to treat every patient like family. And over the years, I've watched kids grow up in this office, come back as parents, and now I'm seeing their kids in the same chair. That kind of trust, it's not something we take for granted. This isn't just where we do dentistry. It's where we make people feel at home. Frugier Family Dentistry, where you treat it like family. Call or visit FrugierFamilyDentistry.com to schedule.
Visit Treads & Care Tire Company's new location on Hooper Road in Central. Locally owned for over 50 years, Treads & Care is known for quality automotive repair and top-notch customer service.
I'd like to invite you to come out and see us at our new location in Central.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats. The flavor says it all.
Look up to the skies as
And we welcome you back on this Wednesday morning, Taping Tigers Roar. Let's get right into it. We gave you an overview of the LSU team. Let's let you hear from BK. He knows how big this game is, folks. They 1-0 signs everywhere. A lot of emphasis on the opening game. Here's Brian Kelly meeting with the media this week out at LSU.
Great practice day. Getting a chance to get out there for an hour and a half, handle the elements, learn from it. Those are great teaching lessons for us going into, for practice 6. That's exactly what I was looking for. So, again, as you talk about putting your football team together and developing your team, these are the kind of moments that in a, small, looking at it from a smaller perspective, a micro perspective, these are the days I need to develop the things that we need from our football team. So good day out there today from that perspective. Our guys are doing a great job taking care of themselves, injury-free. So all positives moving into tomorrow's 2-hour practice. So questions?
Brian, with that in mind, that micro perspective that you're talking
Yeah.
about, we look at the offensive line and we see issues, right? What are you looking at? What do you see that's positive? What do you see some things that need to be worked on? And how much of it is the collective versus the individual?
It's a little bit of both. I mean, look, when we go into these scrimmage situations, just so you can hear my perspective, I'm much more interested in, the evaluation, not the congratulations. This is evaluating what are the things on our football team that we need to get better at individually, collectively, as a unit, offense and defensively. I'm not looking for guys getting patted on the back saying, well, what a great scrimmage. It's one. I want to be able to evaluate. And today, for me, is a great evaluation day. I was able to glean some things through our work today that allows me to help our coaches continue the evaluation process. So it's both. It's individually, it's collectively as a unit, and then, as an offense and defense.
Well, I guess the follow-up to that, you say you gleaned some things. What were sort of the things that you learned from today's practice specifically?
That keeping you guys out there for an hour and a half is not smart. We've got to work on getting you guys in the cold tubs and air conditioning, sandwiches. Maybe we'll bring some beer in, little barbecue. We got to keep it a lot lighter for you guys, because I can imagine how these stories are going to sound today, because you're all pissed off. No, I mean, I think, we have some young players, right, that for the first time they were pushed to their limit, from a mental standpoint, not a physical standpoint, and then how did they react accordingly, right? We had some guys that were put in the moment and made a lot of mistakes. So it allows us to take a step back. When you're running around out there with your underwear on and nobody's touching you, it's easy, right? Everything's great. Then you get into competitive situations late in practice. It's really hot. We created this situation purposefully, right? We wanted it late. We wanted it hot. And some guys need to continue to grow mentally. And there's not a physical problem out here. This is much more about technical and mental. And it allows me to evaluate that if you create that situation.
Not to jinx him, but in the time been out here since spring and fall, Bauer Sharp hasn't dropped a pass. I mean, does he drop them when we're not there?
You miss the ones he drops.
Okay.
Bauer's been really good. Let's be honest, right? He's been really good. He's been a great leader. He's accountable. We're really pleased with him. But he's not perfect. And he's working on that every day too, which is great, right? He came here knowing that he was not done developing. And that's what we appreciate about him the most.
After Harold at that star spot, what are you sort of looking for in terms of traits, in terms of the guys you want to play there? So far it's Charles, Austin, and then C.J. Jim Coyley.
Yeah, I think you're going to see Jordan Gilbert play a little bit there as well. Great tacklers, guys that can keep the ball inside the defense. So they've got to be rough and tumble kind of guys, if you will, and have the ability to, reroute. Guys that play physical, at that position, but are athletic enough that they've got the wide field. They've got to keep the ball inside the defense. So that is a unique player, right? I mean, it is a, Ross, look at Ross, right? He's a, 4'3", 4'4", 40. He's physically strong. He's 215 pounds now. So you're looking for, a real elite athlete that can do that. But primarily, he's got to be rough and physical and a really good tackler.
Coach, what did you add to the safety position with Cooley and Halsey in the offseason there?
Yeah, I mean, game experience and football knowledge. Those are the two things, and we didn't move off of those, and everybody that we evaluated, Jacques, it was, if they don't have those two criteria, we can't even begin this process. So they have to have snaps, real live snaps, and they have to be smart football players. We're not going to go in here and teach you the nuances of the game. We're past that. They both have those qualities, and they have athletic ability. So what are we getting? Smart, savvy, physical players that have played a lot of college football.
Brian, P.J. Woodland seems to be a little more versatile this preseason camp, maybe versus his first year last year. He's playing a little bit at the nickel spot. Just what can he add to you guys' secondary with some of that versatility that we've seen so far?
So the first thing that you have to be able to do is what Jacques talked about, is you have to have a football IQ. He's a very smart player. So we can move him around, right? We can move him inside, outside. The field is a lot different when you're an inside corner versus an outside corner. Your landmarks are so different. And not everybody can play that position. So he brings that. He also brings an extra 12 to 15 pounds from last year. I mean, he was too light at times, and so it became an issue relative to, tackling. That's not a question. We don't want him to be in a position to be matched up against, 250-pound, tight ends every time, but he's not going to be. And so, and he can play the outside position as an SEC corner. So that's a pretty good trait to have.
Probably like your answer to Jacques' safety question, the defensive line is really shown, across the board that they can get to the quarterback. I guess, what are you seeing there with that group and the impressive, ability for them to be a different guy on every down?
Yeah, I mean, if you look carefully, where were a lot of the pressures were from inside out, not outside in. And that's a great thing, right? When you have guys that are creating issues from the inside out of the pocket instead of just rushing off the edge, where you can get a hand on them and widen it and step up. Where we're getting our best success is inside out. And so, Gooden, Guillory, Jamari played a little bit. Butler played some inside. Gabe can play a little bit inside. We can be very dynamic from an inside-out perspective as well. Obviously McKinley's big and long. So when you add that to, what we think is 4 guys that can play off the edge, you got a pretty dynamic pass rush now.
Hey, Coach, it looked like there was one play today. I don't know if it was instinctual or by design, but Garrett saw a hole, took it and ran. Looked like it could have gone for a bigger gain. Just that element of his game developing this offseason, what kind of effort has he put into that, and just how nice is it to see that?
Yeah, I just think learning from last year where he had those opportunities and he didn't take advantage of them. I think he recognizes the fact that the quarterback position is not just about being static and throwing the football or handing it off. You've got to be able to use your legs. He's athletic enough to do that. So I think just education and realization, playing in games where he knew he had opportunities that he needed to do that. And then, he's smart. Like he knows that, he's not going to run the ball 10, 15 times a game. But if he can give us 5, 6 carries when we need them, it's going to make him more effective.
Coach, I know it was a point of contention going into the camp, but can you talk about the run game a little bit? how you like that, being more creative and having more of a balance with run pass. How's that coming so far?
Yeah, I mean, I think we made some progress. You know, we struggled a little bit today with movement. As you know, we're moving a lot up front, and, you know, this is the week that we're installing some of our movement. So that becomes a little bit more difficult, you know, on our guys up front, you know, in handling the movement. The guys up front are pretty good. So I think more than anything else, it's just handling the movement up front. But I'm pleased with the structure of the run game, the way it's progressing, you know, from a direct snap to shotgun, you know, a variety of different looks. And we still have a lot to install at this point. So where am I right now with it? I feel pretty good. We've got to do a better job up front handling the movement.
Coach, over here. One of the transfers we're watching is Patrick Payton, the
Yeah.
edge rusher. What have you seen from him through the first few practices?
Yeah, I think he's, you know, Patrick would tell you the first, you know, if you asked him, is that, you know, this is a big workload for him, one that he's not quite as familiar with, and he's done a really good job of handling additional workload. And so he's rounding into that kind of football shape that we all need him to be in to play at the highest level. But he's been great. I mean, he's done everything we've asked him to do. It's a competitive situation. He knows it, but he's learning every day. And he came here because he wanted to obviously develop at a higher level. And not that they didn't develop him at Florida State, but he was looking for more of that. That's why he transferred. And we want to meet and exceed that, you know, his wishes. And so we've spent a lot of time, and Coach Peoples spent a lot of time with him on his technique and developing his technique.
All right, so there you hear the fourth-year head coach, JP. I always like to get your independent and objective opinions. Look, folks, I'm going to give you the rundown real quick. LSU was 111th out of 134 FBS schools running the football. JP, Caden Durham, even Caleb Jackson. You're going to love the two freshmen, number 22, Harlan Berry. He's getting acclimated to the size and the physicality of this SEC. And J.T. Lindsey just came on the horizon. Jawan Johnson's also. They got plenty of running backs, plenty of tight ends, plenty of receivers. JP, how important do you think it will be to have some semblance of a run game? And being fair, how long do you think it'll be before this LSU football team can confidently say, I like where we're at with our offensive line and with our run game?
Wow, what a question. But, I mean, obviously the run game is essential. For a pass rusher, if you know the quarterback has to drop back and pass, you can just pin your earbacks. You're not worried about a screen, not worried about a run, filling a gap. You're just going to get the quarterback. Makes it really tough on a quarterback to have to throw the ball under 2 seconds. Got to have time to let routes develop. Can't just throw the ball at the line of scrimmage. Defense is ready for it. Cornerbacks, they can see the vision of a wide receiver and the quarterback jump the route. Got to have time. The run game's so important, Bud, man, not only to keep the clock moving, to keep the defense rested, but just to move the ball. I mean, to inflict your will on the defense. You can't be one-dimensional. Not only is it very difficult on the offense, but then it's really difficult on defense. You go 3 and out every time. They're gassed by the second quarter. It just really makes things tough. In my opinion, the engine that drives the car is absolutely Garrett Nussmeier. The success of this team will be on his shoulders, how he throws the football to all those talented wide receivers. But it cannot be one-dimensional, Bud, man. To your second question, when is the LSU fans going to be comfortable? Hopefully, the answer to that question is in the first quarter of the Clemson game. You know, they have a very talented defensive line, talk about defensive tackle and a defensive edge. Both guys looking to go into the first round of the NFL draft next season. So NFL talent already on the roster. Throw in it's a home game at night. First game of the season. Both these teams ranked inside the top 10, hoping to make the playoffs for a national championship. But, man, I hope it's the first quarter of that Clemson game week 1. But in reality, until Coach Sloan kind of understands what front five they're going to rotate, what plays he's going to call inside the 30, 20, and 10. it might be week 3. It might be that
Yeah.
game after La Tech going against the Florida Gators, Billy Napier, that you finally get comfortable in what you do as an offense, how you control the football, and really what you can do to enforce your will on the defense.
Look for number 10, Bauer Sharp, to play almost every play. And, JP, when you don't have a stout offensive line. With DJ Chester moving to left guard, folks, every offensive lineman in their positions at this point in fall camp are new. 4 new starters. Of course, we'll see if Josh Thompson can hold on. But Bauer Sharp can be that tight end. And in case you don't know what this means, it means you chip. And what that means is you actually block and you bump and chip that defensive end or that defensive tackle. You're going to see Nuss catching the football, running and throwing off his back foot in the first half because they're going to have pressure. And I'm hoping JP's right. I hope it's the first quarter. I hope it's the first half. I hope it's by the second half. But don't freak out. Give this offensive line a little chance to get better. But that is one of the things. We talk about it all day and all night long. Get rid of the football in 2.5 seconds or less. Dink and dunk, quick, short passes, but establishing the run and being balanced are the goals. Joe Sloan, our offensive coordinator in the year 2, we'll talk to him on Friday. If you check out our radio show, Tigers Roar Radio, we're on Tigers Roar TV. We'll have more with Joe and many other players when we get back, as always, in the coming weeks. So, quick timeout. We do have a couple of the offensive linemen. Tyree Adams, the starting left tackle. Bo Bordelon, the right tackle, as a backup. And as always, we hope you're doing well. We come back with more on a Wednesday edition of Tigers Roar right here on Pelican Sports TV.
Tremonti's has meat, Tremonti's has seafood, Tremonti's has much more. Tailgating and home gating platters, huge wine and liquor selection, beer and all the spices you need, Chairman Reserve and Wagyu meats, ribeye rolls, shrimp rolls, kebabs, 20 flavors of sausage for the grill, daily lunch specials and game processing. On-site catering also available. Good meat ain't cheap and cheap meat ain't good. Visit Tremonti's.com.
Few things in life are as valuable as family and peace of mind, especially when it comes to your final arrangements, and that's where Lee Serio can help. His prepaid funeral plans make sure your life will be remembered exactly the way you want it to. With Lee Serio, no detail is too large or too small. Call Lee or his wife Gretchen at 225-315-6329. Let Lee Serio give you and your family the peace of mind you all deserve.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
Right now is Tundra time at Team Toyota, where you can get 0% financing on a new 25 Tundra or get $3,000 customer cash plus $1,000 trade-in allowance. Find these savings and so much more right now at Team Toyota, I-12 at O'Neill.
Treads and Care Tire Company announces its new location on Hooper Road in Central. Locally owned for 50 years, Treads and Care is known for quality automotive repair with top-notch customer service. Treads and Care offers the convenience of shuttle service and pickup and delivery of your vehicle. You can also enjoy the comfortable customer area, complete with workstations, high-speed internet, and a complimentary coffee bar.
I'd like to invite you to come out and see us at our new location in Central.
Treads and Care, the tires you need and the service you want.
And we welcome you back here on this Wednesday afternoon. Can you believe it? 24 days. Oh, by the way, the Jags will give you some of that. Don't forget, their shows will start on Pelican Sports TV here in the coming weeks over at TJ Ribs. And they've got a great opportunity to do some great things. JP, any final comments on LSU? Give me the keys that you're going to be personally looking, and then we'll let you hear from Tyree Adams and Bo Bordelon. But, JP, what are you going to be looking for in that first game?
But, man, is this offense able to run the football or throw the ball intermediate length to kind of assemble a running game? Work the screen pass, work the dink and dunk, the jet sweep, find some type of creative way to get this run game going, take some pressure off of Nussmeier, and get that offensive line some rhythm. Got to get that front five solidified. That's the biggest key in my point. I know the defensive front is going to rush that quarterback. Very talented kid over there at Clemson, but nobody can do the job with 300-pound men bearing down your throat. So hopefully LSU's defense can carry in that week 1 matchup against Clemson. But keys to the season, in my opinion, buddy, this team can only go as far as this offensive line is going to push them. And truly, with the incredible weapons at every offensive position outside of the front five, LSU has to do some special things this year. Got to make a playoff run. It's going to start week 1. Got to go 1-0. Starts with that offensive line. Biggest question mark for me is will they be able to run the football? Because Caden Durham, too talented to keep bottled up all season. He's got to have a breakout year and get it going week 1.
If LSU does not beat Clemson, and I think it is imperative they win the rest of their games in September, Louisiana Tech, the first home game, then you host Florida in week 3. Of course, then you've got another cupcake, and then you've got at Ole Miss. They've got to be 4-1 at the end of September if they take the L against Clemson. Oh, by the way, Grant Chatwig, number 90, is the new punter. Jonathan Ferguson, number 49, is the new snapper. Chadwick will also be the new holder. And, of course, Damian Ramos is PATs and field goals, and Aaron Burrell kickoff and anything over 50 yards. Special teams, especially early in the year, always a concern because you can't simulate that speed and 90,000 people. Don't be shocked if Clemson tries to come back and block a punt or make a big play on special teams. Here's Tyree Adams, the starting left tackle, and Bo Bordelon could get into the mix as also backup right tackle. Here's Adams and Bo Bordelon right here on Tigers Roar and Pelican Sports TV.
For me, it's really great just knowing that each and every day I have to go out and compete. I don't want to be somewhere where it's mainly just solidified and I don't have to go compete anywhere. Because I know at the next level in the NFL, you have to compete each and every day no matter who you are or where you are. So that's the best thing.
The talk out there is offensive line, the biggest question mark on the team. As they go, the team may go. How is the group coming together so far?
Man, the group has been exceptional. We go out to eat almost every single day. Like, we're a close-knit group. Coach Brad, he preaches to us every single day. Like, if we're not close, we will not be a good unit. And I feel like the emphasis of this year really just becoming close. And I think we made a big emphasis on that. We're doing that.
I heard Frank Wilson during practice yell, I see you, Weston, I see you. So
yes, sir.
Big 75, he's doing a good job out there.
Man, I think for me, him and a lot of my other teammates have taken a big jump. Just from not really playing last year to taking a step into that starting role. And I couldn't be more proud of him.
Have you seen a big difference from Nuss going from year 1 as a starter to now year 2 as a starter?
Yes, definitely. I feel he's more comfortable. The work that we put in through the whole offseason, he was there just commanding us and leading us as keeper one should. And I feel like his confidence level is through the roof. He knows he has all the talent in the world, but we have to bring it each and every day. And he really just had to show it, and I know he will.
Return of Jacoby and Gilliard, a veteran guy that you have to go against. What is it like trying to battle him up front?
Definitely. It's tough. But I'd rather that each and every day in practice so it can be easier for the games. And him bringing it each and every down, that's what I need.
Jack Fiburn, what are your thoughts on him so far?
Him, he intense. He brings intensity each and every play. He's going to talk his talk and he walks the walk. And I love Jack with everything. And for him just to do that in practice is going to carry over to the game because you practice how you play. And the way that he practices is intense.
What about what is your job in terms of keeping Garrett's, great quarterback, but stopping him from trying to do too much, right?
Yes,
run the ball well, protect him. What is the responsibility in that regard?
For us, it's really just 5 guys playing as one. If we all do our job, Garrett is going to shine. And I feel like, and also if we all do our job, everyone's going to shine. So it really falls on the offensive line, and I know we can get it done.
And the 2 additions from the portal in Braylon and Josh, how are they fitting in?
They fit in very well. The culture of this room, we call ourselves the Bomb Squad. They came in, they fitted right away. They didn't come in to try to be just for themselves, just to go to the league, but they really bought into the program and really what we stand for.
How rewarding is that for you?
I mean, put a lot of hard work into this off season, and I guess that award was kind of just the cherry on top. I guess. I mean, it's not something that I would say I was necessarily striving for. I was just trying to work hard every day, but getting it was definitely a surprise and a blessing. So.
You've been an absolute beast in the weight room. What was your weight when you left Newman, and what's your weight right now?
When I arrived on campus, I was 270 pounds, and the heaviest I've been was like 317, but right now I'm holding it like 305. It's kind of where I want to be. I feel like I'm moving better, so I'm just going to try to maintain that.
So, what are you seeing from the offensive line as a group as you guys are trying to build this new group?
Yeah, I think we have a great unit. We are really close. I mean, everybody in that room cares about one another. Everybody cares about each other's success, and I think the best part of it all is we don't have a lot of jealousy in that room. We're all rooting for each other when we get out there, and even though we're competing every day, we're also holding everybody to our standard. So we set a very high standard in that room. We had a bunch of guys who've come through in the program before us that have established what it means to be an offensive lineman at LSU. And we're trying to uphold that standard and surpass it. So,
what about the emphasis on playing the football better this year to take some of the pressure off of us?
Yeah, I mean, we don't really worry about stuff. We just worry about executing one play at a time. You know, if we go do our job every play, then we're gonna be able to run the football well. So, if we can just execute and take away the mistakes, that's what's going to get us over that edge. So.
Does it bring you guys together, kind of like you mentioned, because you're all competing for a spot? I don't know. There's a lot of guys competing. Maybe all 5 of their spots are open.
Yeah.
You guys kind of get together.
We got a lot of guys that can play a lot of different positions, and I feel like even though we're competing in the room, the main thing we're competing for is a national championship. So we want 10 all-SEC caliber players in that room. You know what I mean? So if we can all push each other to be better, then that's just going to lead us one step closer to getting that national championship.
Of course, Bo Bordelon last year would change numbers during the game and actually be a third blocking tight end. Not sure if that role will be his this year, JP. Backup offensive line consists of Carius Kern, number 57. This guy is a man-child. We expect him to get a look-see. A lot of the media people want to see him get a look-see at right guard in place of Josh Thompson. Of course, Cohen Eccles, Bo Bordelon, a bunch of other guys in the mix, and DJ Chester. Bo Bordelon's brother, Brett Bordelon, is on the team. Solomon Thomas, a big 5-star offensive lineman, got hurt in the offseason. We saw him on the bike trying to come back. He's another guy that will be in the mix. And we'll just tell you, folks, that offensive line, if they get the answers that they're looking for on the offensive line, then you've got an LSU football team that you're going to be proud of. Defense is going to be nasty, spicy, and stingy. And, of course, we know special teams has got to do their part. And, of course, let's get right to it, play calling. You get inside the red zone, inside the 10 and the 5, got to score touchdowns and not settle for field goals. Quick timeout. We come back with more. Also give you a little piece with Kellen Moore, the first-year coach at the Saints. JP and I have the question, will they win 6 games or more? We'll address that when we come back on a Wednesday edition of Tigers Roar right here on Pelican Sports TV.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats. The flavor says it all.
Move and be moved by these savings right now at Team Mazda. Choose a new 25 Mazda CX-50, Mazda CX-70, or Mazda CX-90 and get low 1.9% financing. Discover the Mazda experience and save right now at Baton Rouge's Mazda dealer, Team Mazda.
Caught spiders?
Premier Pest Services.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing. You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day. Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to greystonecountryclub.com.
Did our radio show over at Greystone Golf and Country Club. Playoffs for the PGA starts this weekend, the top 70 getting down to the PGA Championship. Quick season there, quick season for football. Oh, by the way, AP football poll comes out on Monday. I'm going to predict LSU will be 8, 1 spot higher than the coaches poll. Clemson will be 5, 1 spot higher than the coaches poll. And we will see, but no doubt that will be a matchup at Clemson. Oh, by the way, JP, we're going to talk Saints, but Dabo Swinney said it yesterday. He thinks they were the first team to go 15-0 in 2018. LSU was the second team to go 15-0 in 2019 and the first SEC team to do it. Dabo said yesterday, BK, I've got bulletin board material. JP actually said he thinks his Clemson team could go 16-0 and be the first team to go 16-0. But we'll talk about that next time right here on Tigers Roar. Kellen Moore, first-year head coach with the Saints. Let's give you a little taste, about 3 minutes of what he's got to say early on in their camp out in New Orleans at the Saint facility as they're headed to California today.
Overall, transition practice going in from the scrimmage right into this. So again, I think it's great for our guys. They have to get used to this. You're a little bit sore still coming out of the Sunday scrimmage, and thought we had some good work. There's a lot of detail to go into it.
Is Juwan Johnson's absence attached to what he was already?
Yeah, same thing. Yep, all good.
What do you like about the offensive line? What are you seeing working together?
Yeah, they're spending a lot of time together. They're working really hard. I love the physicality, and now it comes down to consistency, and that group has to lead our team. That has to be a leadership group. We've invested a ton of resources in that group, and so we expect a lot out of them.
Kellen, is that more a game plan with Rattler like at first? Is it when it was a quarterback run, not an RPO? Do you have that both in the game plan, like actually run pass option and just it looks like maybe RPO, but
we had a couple. We had a couple different tools in practice today. Again, just exposure to different schemes. There were some RPOs, but there were some design QB reads, read option types things where you can read the end and potentially pull it.
How do you expect California practices to be different?
We will shift to an afternoon practice. That'll be the main thing. Just our day will shift. But other than that, the intensity, the workload, very, very similar to what we're doing. We're still in training camp mode out there. That's the biggest thing. Like this isn't, a thing to go out there and have fun. We're still going to full normal training camp mode out there. And so it'll be excellent work for us.
Do you expect to do live scrimmage work in the next, Thursday, Friday?
Yeah, we'll have one more practice when we're out there on Thursday, and then on Friday will be a scrimmage-like setting there. It won't be quite Sunday because obviously we have a game on Sunday, so we won't do that again. It'll be a little bit less than 126. So that'll be a scrimmage-type setting there. Again, one more opportunity right before the Chargers game, and then we'll play the Chargers, and then essentially we have 3 more practices out there. So we'll get some excellent work.
What went into how you kind of rotated the QBs today with Spencer going out there with the ones first, and has that rotation process kind of evolved at all with the preseason game?
Yeah, it's a day-to-day thing. Obviously, Spencer got a healthy dose of the ones there. Tyler got a little bit right at the end, and so we'll continue to evaluate each day. Very much in the evaluation mode, and we'll see how it all plays out.
Has he shown you something lately to get like back-to-back days?
Yeah, I think he's doing a really good job. I think he's finding completions. Doing a really good job protecting the football. He does have some ability to play with his feet. I think that's one thing that's shown from his perspective is his ability to get out of some things at times. He's doing some good things.
Have you decided on Rattler starting the first preseason game?
No, we have not.
What's the value of the shift to afternoon practices?
Just the weather out there and allow us to kind of be in more of a routine where we can install, walk, and then we'll practice at the end of the day. Nice little change for our guys. We tend to play, in afternoon games, and so a chance for us to kind of get back into that setting.
Kellen, what determines the running back rotation for the first preseason game Chargers, or just the preseason games in general? Because you have only so many reps.
Yeah.
And you have a handful of backs.
Yeah, we're certainly we'll have those conversations here. Really, once we get to California, just as we ramp up going into the game on Sunday. Alvin, you won't see him. We're good there. But the rest of these guys, they're all going to get awesome reps, and so really all of them are alive the entire game. We'll try and get as many looks as we can. We'll obviously have to make a decision Wednesday, Thursday on a pecking order as we go into that.
First-year head coach Kellen Moore, all reports is that Spencer Rattler is the leader in the clubhouse as the starting quarterback. Of course, Shuck, who was drafted 40th overall in the second round from Louisville, is possibly the backup. They're still going into a battle there. JP, the good, the bad, and the ugly for the Saints going into this year.
Yeah, Bud, man, question marks at the quarterback spot, obviously a problem. That offensive line has seemed to be a strong suit for the Saints. You heard Kellen Moore say they've invested a ton of resources into that offensive line. 2 first-round picks back-to-back years. Moved Trevor Penning from the tackle to the left guard spot. Cesar Ruiz, Gooden in the middle. So, yeah, it should be a strong suit for the Saints. Obviously an aging defense, but they like the rookies they brought in with Stutzman and Quincy Riley. This kid, Quincy Riley, Coach Kellen Moore has been very high on all training camp, talking about how he sees the football, attacks the football, he can tackle, and he's a great cover corner. So brought in some pieces. They like Julian Blackman to replace Tyrann Mathieu. Of course, they signed Justin Reed in the offseason. Demario Davis going to lead that defense. Cam Jordan's got the bounce to the inside. Brian Brissy looking to have a breakout year for the Saints at D tackle. So defense is going to have to carry the Saints, especially early in this season. Spencer Rattler looks to be the starter, still winless as a starter in the NFL. Guy's got lots of talent. Hopefully that year of experience under Derek Carr, replacing him when Carr got hurt, hopefully that will bode well for the Saints moving into this new year.
Ladies, get your honey-do list in because before long, the old man is going to be watching games on Saturday, Sunday, starting on Thursday, all the way until Monday Night Football. Don't forget, Man Defined Meats, folks, are the official smoked sausage of LSU Athletics. Eat that Manda product on Saturday. It'll give your favorite team good luck. And we will be in here in a couple weeks getting you ready, giving you a little bit better of an idea. LSU first day of full pads yesterday. Today, first really grunt day, 2 hours out in that sun. We had no media availability. Scrimmages are generally going to be on Saturday. Knock on wood. You want to keep the Tigers healthy and happy. And as always, appreciate all of you out there watching all of our programs on YouTube as well and patronizing our great sponsors right here at Pelican Sports Radio and TV. See you in a couple weeks for another edition of Tigers Roar right here on Pelican Sports TV.